Sony are claiming that cinema is coming home in 2024, and who are we to argue with a company that owns a Hollywood studio, that develops and manufactures cinema cameras used by Hollywood, as well as the grading monitors that directors and colorists use to master their content. Plus, it's a company which then sells that technology in their TV sets to the general public. To tell us all about the Lens 2 living room story and to launch their 2024 TV and AV products, Sony flew me and a large number of major AV outlets and creators to Sony Pictures Studios in Culver City. I need to state now that video was not allowed in the vast majority of the studio locations, so you'll see a lot more stills than fancy B-roll in this video than normal. Plus, for full transparency, Sony paid for the flights and hospitality for the 2-day trip in mid-March 2024. And accepting to go on such press trips does not guarantee any positive coverage for Sony, and any opinions expressed in this video are mine with no input or pressure from Sony. These events are all about access and making sure that we get the important information back to you, the AV Forum's readers and viewers. A large number of major AV outlets from Europe, the UK and the US were present and correct at this launch event, and as the embargo deadline has now passed, you're probably going to see a huge influx of articles and videos online covering everything we're about to discuss here. If you want more information on the entire trip, including the studio tour, then you can head over to AV Forums and read my in-depth article. So let's cut to the chase. Despite some naughty clickbait videos on YouTube at the end of 2023 suggesting that Sony was going to dump OLED, Sony continues to support OLED TVs in their lineup for 2024, with the 2023 flagship A95 LQD OLED continuing for this year, as well as several other 2023 models such as the A90K OLED and the X90L, X85L, X80L and X75L LCD TVs. With those models going nowhere just yet, what can we expect for 2024? Well, a new naming convention is the first thing that I need to mention, and going forward, all the TVs and AV products will now bear the BRAVIA name. At this event, we were shown 7 new products, 3 TVs, 2 soundbars, a wearable neck speaker, and a home theatre system. The TVs are the BRAVIA 9, BRAVIA 8 and BRAVIA 7, with the soundbars being BRAVIA Theatre Bar 8 and 9. There's also the BRAVIA Theatre U and the BRAVIA Theatre Quad. The flagship TV launch model is the BRAVIA 9 QR QLED Mini LED, which is joined by the BRAVIA 8 WRGB XR OLED TV and the BRAVIA 7 XR QLED Mini LED. While Sony will never tell you the figures for backlight zones, the number of mini LEDs, or indeed the peak brightness nit values, the BRAVIA 9 is designed to be the brightest set they've ever produced, based on technology and know-how from the professional grading monitors. The latest grading monitor, the 31-inch BVM HX3110, is capable of achieving 4000 nits peak brightness, and in demonstrations it's incredibly impressive, with HDR content looking natural and lifelike as it's intended. The technology used by Sony to achieve this peak brightness and accuracy with HDR content at 4000 nits is trickling down to the consumer BRAVIA 9, which will be capable of achieving at least 3000 nits peak with some degree of accuracy for HDR content. When benchmarked against last year's X95L model, Sony is claiming the BRAVIA 9 will have 50% brightness boost and 3 times more dimming zones. This is all thanks to new algorithms within the XR backlight master drive that helps the BRAVIA 9 drive the panel for superb black, stunning shadow detail and incredibly detailed specular highlights. It achieves this performance thanks to the use of 3 items: the Sony XR processing chip, which takes the input signal and provides the LCD cell and backlight control data, the tiny 22-bit LED drivers which control the LEDs in current and time domains to generate accurate luminance, which is based on the backlight control data from the XR chip, and of course the LEDs themselves, which generate all of that into light, or not if you want black. So the mini LED models have this new Sony developed 22-bit high-performance driver that is tiny and is, according to Sony, the world's smallest. These drivers are spaced across the backlight panel and are responsible for each zone of mini LEDs. Because the LEDs are controlled in the current and time domains with incredible precision from the driver, it adds far more gradation to the zones in the backlight, which reveals more detail, less haloing, and up to 20% less energy consumption as a bonus. The demonstrations using this backlight technology, which we couldn't film, were excellent, and I'm genuinely excited to see what the BRAVIA 9 will be like when we get our review sample. Everything I've seen with this TV set shows great promise for those who want to get the very best from HDR specular highlights and still have decent black levels and shadow detail. In the demonstrations that couldn't be filmed, we had last year's X95L and a competitor's mini LED TV up against the BRAVIA 9, which was capable of showing excellent detail and image depth with superb gradation compared to the other sets, thanks to the increase in dimming zones, the better processing power, and these new 22-bit drivers controlling the mini LEDs. For the audio system this year, the BRAVIA 9 gets Acoustic Multi-Audio Plus with the world's first beam tweeter at the top and frame tweeter at the sides to deliver what Sony describes as cinematic surround sound. It will also support IMAX DTS-X and Dolby Atmos audio. Gaming wise, the BRAVIA 9 has two HDMI 2.1 48GB per second ports, a game menu, VRR, ALM and 4K 120, which includes Dolby Vision HDR, and of course it's perfect for PS5. The only slight disappointment I have with the BRAVIA 9 is that in the UK we only get the 75 and 85 inch models. In the US, they also get the 65-inch version, and I am struggling to understand that logic as the US has the larger living rooms, not the UK. So when I asked for an explanation from Sony, we were told that it was a business decision and there's plenty of choice in the range, but I am hoping that they change this approach and bring the 65-inch to the UK, because I really do think they'd be onto a winner at that screen size. And Sony's not dumping OLED in favour of mini LED sets. Rather, the company wants to offer the very best of both technologies so you can watch movies at home. QD OLED remains in the lineup, with the A95L continuing for 2024 as it was only launched at the tail end of 2023, so it's not quite ready for a refresh, and I would probably bet on a BRAVIA 10, which will appear at some point either later this year or early next year with a QD OLED panel on board, but that's my guess and nothing has officially come from Sony in any way to that effect. For those looking for the creator's intent, you have several picture modes to choose from, including a new Prime Video calibrated mode for use with Amazon's streaming service. The servers at Amazon will know exactly what kind of content you're watching, be that a movie or TV show or sports, and the BRAVIA TV will by default apply the correct settings for that content using the Prime App API. We fully intend to test this and measure it when we get the sets in for review. You also have Professional, IMAX Enhanced, Netflix Adaptive Calibrated Mode and Sony Pictures Core Calibrated Mode, and all of them do the same thing and set the TV to the industry standards. BRAVIA 7, 8 and 9 also come with a new Eco Remote, which is made from 80% recycled materials and has a rechargeable USB-C battery. There are some nice features, which include a backlight for use in the dark, and let's face it, if cinema's coming home we're going to be sitting in the dark, and a full charge will also last around 4 months of normal use. So let's have a quick look at the other two BRAVIA TVs that were announced. The BRAVIA 8 is a WRGB OLED TV that will be available in 55, 65 and 77-inch screen sizes, and this effectively replaces the A80L and A84L from last year. And it's not an MLA panel in any way, this is just a normal OLED panel. It's equipped with the XR processor and it has XR Triluminance Pro, XR Contrast Boost 15, XR Clear Image and XR OLED motion features. There's full HDR support for Dolby Vision, HDR10 and HLG, and audio support for DTS and Dolby Atmos. The BRAVIA 7 is a QLED mini LED TV with the same backlight technology as the BRAVIA 9, but it doesn't quite have the same peak brightness capabilities. It's available in 55, 65, 75 and 85 inch screen sizes, and it features the XR processor with XR backlight master drive, XR Triluminance Pro, XR Contrast Booster 20, XR Clear Image and XR Motion Clarity. It also has Dolby Vision, HLG, HDR10 support along with IMAX DTS and Dolby Atmos audio capabilities, and all of these sets use the Google TV Smart TV system and can also be used with the optional BRAVIA cam, and the streaming services also include a newly renamed Sony Pictures Core service. Formerly known as BRAVIA Core, Sony Pictures Core is offering 24 months on all three of these new TV models with 10 credits for choosing top-tier film content on this service. Sony also announced some new BRAVIA Theatre products that will become available later this year. Once again, the BRAVIA name is used to simplify the model naming process and make it easier for consumers to understand the products better. There's 3 products that we feel are of interest to the AV Forum's audience, and these are the BRAVIA Theatre Quad, BRAVIA Theatre Bar 8 and BRAVIA Theatre Bar 9. These products all feature 360 spatial sound mapping that creates multiple phantom speakers that create a sound field that is immersive around the listener. This also works with sound field optimization, which automatically adjusts and tunes each of the speakers based on the layout of your room. Plus there's the acoustic center sync, which integrates the soundbars with a BRAVIA TV, and it creates a sound that emanates from the screen itself, just like the cinema. And that wraps up this video. We'll be getting these products in for review as soon as they become available, so stay tuned and subscribe to the channel for more of that. Goodbye!